Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, topping our newscast. During a press conference Tuesday, as we told you yesterday, Juan Luis Hospital officials updated the media and members of the public on their progress of the systems improvement plan for CMS. News2's Erica Parsons has more of those details.
We have heard CMS and have embarked on a number of initiatives to demonstrate sustainable compliance.
3 months after Juan Luis Hospital entered into a systems improvement agreement with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS, hospital officials said they've made good progress.
I am happy to report that JFL has continued to make great strides in its work to improve the quality of care provided at the hospital and refine its oversight and governance processes.
The agreement was signed November 19th and effective November 20th. JFL provided the plan to avoid decertification. This SIA allows them to achieve and maintain substantial compliance to be able to participate in CMS's program.
JFL engaged in an independent clinical quality consultant to review and strengthen the hospital's clinical processes and quality assurance programs. As part of its quality improvement efforts, the hospital has enhanced its training of clinical and technical staff on key patient safety and quality of care topics.
CEO Dr. Kendall Griffith said they have also implemented a training plan to make sure training continues on a regular basis. They'll be conducting regular competency evaluations and have hired more doctors to reduce wait times.
In order to meet its patient care demands, the hospital has successfully recruited new physicians, physician's assistants, and nursing staff to ensure the staffing levels are sufficient throughout the hospital.
Griffith said JFL is currently reviewing and improving its triage policies and procedures, and they have plans to add more triage rooms for the ER. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Hospital board officials say they still need 4 more members for the hospital's governing body. Those names come from the governor, but interested people can still submit their information if interested in serving on the board. Meanwhile, the VI Cardiac Center's 4th annual Cardiac Symposium kicks off on Thursday. It's part of their goal to educate the community, especially with February being National Heart Month. The conference is open to everyone, and this year, some of the people who started cardiac care in the VI will be honored, which are Dr. Antonio Dizon, Mrs. Kathleen Matarangas-King, and Dr. Michael Potts. Keynote speakers from the Caribbean and abroad will address many areas in the field of cardiology during the 3-day conference. The symposium will close out Saturday night with the recognition dinner at the Palms. Well, it wasn't just by chance that you saw all that red on Tuesday. Many senators and staff of the 31st legislature in both districts wore red in solidarity Tuesday at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall during the annual Wear Red Day campaign to raise awareness about the prevalence of heart disease affecting women, as per Resolution number 1775, adopted in 2012 by the 29th legislature. February 3rd of each year is designated as Wear Red Day in the Virgin Islands. National Wear Red Day is this Friday, February 6th, so be sure to put on your best.
Well, I was happy to prime sponsor the legislation, and I was joined by Senator Malone as a prime sponsor, and also former Senator Patrick Sproul was a prime sponsor, but everyone voted for it because men and women recognize the importance of women's health. Once again, as I stated earlier, women are the leaders of most of the households in the Virgin Islands, so we need to make sure to do the things to ensure that our people are healthy, and especially our women.
Labor officials want to remind some former employees of Triangle Construction that they only have about a week left to file a claim for severance pay. The VI government recently got a settlement in their case against Triangle filed back in 2011. The government filed suit against the company saying they violated the Plant Closing Act. 9 former workers still need to file a claim before that February 12th deadline. Those people are listed: Alfred Ash Jr., Rudy Duff, Mark Eugene, Charles Haynes III, Malcolm Macau, Luis Angel Rivera, Carlos Rosas, Luis Saldana, and Delroy Thomas. You can contact the Labor Commissioner's office in Sion Farm and St. Croix for more information. More than 100 job seekers showed up for a work expo hosted by the Department of Labor on Wednesday on St. Croix. Organizers invited employers from 8 companies, as well as HR professionals, to be on site at the Workforce Development Expo held at the University of the Virgin Islands.
We wanted to invite HR professionals who actually see the job seekers, the same people that we see that come into the department to access our services, and they can hear directly from the HR professionals how they can prepare themselves and successfully re-enter the workforce and sustain employment. So that's what you're seeing today. We also invited employers who may or may not have vacancies.
We had several job seekers that came here with their resume, and they were able to network and share that with HR representatives from the various companies here. We have about 8 different agencies here, and I went around and spoke to each one, and each one is actually hiring. They have vacancies to include personnel who has a list of other positions available within the government. So it's a good opportunity, and it gives the attendees an advantage per se to meet the different employers and also conduct one-on-one interviews.
Well, many of you will love this. More than 24 UVI students will demonstrate innovative technological solutions to everyday problems in the community during the first annual UVI Hackfest that's scheduled for February 6th to 7th at the Administration and Conference Center on the St. Thomas campus. Hackathons are events in which computer programmers, software developers, and innovators collaborate on software projects. Solutions can be in the form of web page development, software, or mobile apps. Students will gather in teams on Friday, February 6th and brainstorm some ideas. And then on Saturday evening, a panel of judges will issue awards to the winning team that will receive $500. Turning our attention overseas, more snow is expected. The heaviest snow is likely to occur along the Maine coast and over extreme southeastern Massachusetts and Cape Cod. 4 to 6 may accumulate in those areas. In other news, Jordan has put 2 of its al-Qaeda prisoners to death after Islamic State militants executed a Jordanian pilot. ISIS released a video Tuesday that appears to show the pilot being burned alive. That video showing the pilot's gruesome death was slickly edited and scripted using state-of-the-art graphics. It highlighted the close relationship between Jordan's King Abdullah and President Obama. Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, General Motors is trying to put its recall problems in the rearview mirror. The automaker turned a nearly $3 billion profit last year, despite spending billions on recall costs. January was another big month for hiring. The payroll processor ADP says private companies added about 213,000 jobs last month, and we'll get a better idea of the job market on Friday when the government releases its monthly report. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with the stock market watch. The Dow up 6, NASDAQ and S&P down, the NASDAQ 11, S&P 8. Coming up on News 2, always willing to learn more about internal wellness? Well, we'll share one insider's secret into your health. Plus, here's a Black History quiz. Who was the first African American in the modern era to play on a major league roster? That answer is coming up. Virgin Islander Tracy Piper is the founder and owner of the Piper Center for Internal Wellness, an integrated holistic healthcare facility in New York City. She's also a licensed massage therapist, acupuncturist, Chinese herbologist, and a certified colon hydrotherapist. Now, she's receiving some rave reviews for her tips on internal fitness. Here's more into your health.
If you're having 3 meals a day, you should have 3 bowel movements a day. We have to start moving, getting our lymph system moving. Our lymphatic system only works when we move.
Great advice from health expert Tracy Piper. And she should know she is the author of the Piper Protocol and owns the Piper Center for Wellness in New York for over 10 years. So what is the Piper Protocol? It's internal fitness. It focuses on weight loss and overall wellness, says Tracy. The 4-week plan includes cleansing, reducing protein, and increasing veggies.
The first week, 50-50, which is about meats and veggies, so no carbs at all. But you don't want to be eating 50% meat. You want to have at least 20% of cooked food or meat for the second week, and then 80% greens, 80% raw vegetables. So you're having live enzymes for people to understand you can't eat cooked food all the time because it doesn't have enough enzymes in it. So you're losing the vitality of that food. And the third week is about getting rid of the meat because it's hard on the digestive system, and putting in some grains, but now the grains are gluten-free grains. You want to use more like quinoa, buckwheat, stuff like that, sweet potato, not pasta, and all the artificial stuff you get in a box.
Then week 4, Liquid Feast. Many call it Hollywood's best kept secret, as her many elite clients include celebrities, supermodels, athletes, and medical professionals.
So in my book, I have a lot of different recipes that people can use naturally, and especially here in the islands, there's sorrel, there's tamarind, there's mango, all these fruits that are growing right here that doesn't cost any money.
Tracy is in the process of branching out back home into the VI.
So I'm partnering up with Cheryl Williams at Shangri-La Spa to bring the Piper Center at Shangri-La Spa over in Windward Passage and see how we can bring some of what I do in the States here to my own people. But for me, it's more about being internally fit, internal fitness. How do you feed your cells? How do you create a perfect environment for your cells to swim in, for your organs to bathe in? And so by teaching them different steps, different internal fitness tips, as I have in my book, it can help people to gradually get there.
Be sure to log on to pipercenter.com for more information. The Piper Protocol is on sale on Amazon and others. On island, you can get a copy at the Owl and the Seahorse in Subbase, Fortress Mall, and Shangri-La Spa in Windward Passage. The Virgin Islands Department of Health has partnered with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the National Park Service, CDC, also to conduct a visitor survey at Virgin Islands National Parks on chikungunya. Now, this project that began February 3rd will provide opportunities to learn where residents and visitors access information. The survey will be conducted by the CDC team from Fort Collins branch. This team of experts will administer surveys at a variety of locations on St. John, and the questions will be relevant to the individual's knowledge, attitude, and practices regarding chikungunya. Well, it's time for everyone to break out their beads and colorful costumes for the annual Mardi Gras Parade. That's this Saturday, starting at noon. St. Croix's Cane Bay Beach will be filled with floats, live music, vendors, great food, and revelers dancing in the street from Sylvie's Bar and Grill to Spratnet Beach Bar. It's sponsored by the Crew de Croix. The Mardi Gras Parade began as an idea in 2002 from New Orleans residents Tom and Dory Tibler, and has become the biggest beach party in St. Croix. Well, time for a Black History lesson. African Americans began to play baseball in the late 1800s on military teams, college teams, and company teams. They eventually found their way to professional teams with white players. However, racism and Jim Crow laws forced them from these teams by 1900. Thus, black players formed their own units, and in 1920, an organized league structure was formed called the Negro Baseball League, under the guidance of Andrew Foster. Soon, rival leagues formed in eastern and southern states. The leagues maintained a high level of professional skill and became centerpieces for economic development. In 1945, Major League Baseball's Brooklyn Dodgers recruited Jackie Robinson from the Kansas City Monarchs. Robinson was the first African American in the modern era to play on a major league roster. While this historic event was a key moment in baseball and civil rights history, it prompted the decline of the Negro Leagues. The best black players were recruited for the major leagues, and black fans followed. The last Negro League teams folded in the early 1960s, but their legacy lives on through the surviving players and the Negro Leagues museums. Well, calling all local artists in recognition of Black History Month, Opportunity Knocks, the visual and performing arts of the Caribbean and the National Park Service. They're presenting the Black History Show. You are requested to submit 3 to 5 JPEG of work that fits the theme, which is architecture and landscape of the Virgin Islands. It's open to all mediums and all artists. They are looking for innovative approaches. Now, the deadline is February 10th. All accepted work must be framed with hanging wire. The showing will be at the Steeple Building in Christiansted from February 23rd to March 31st. Big congrats to Philip Kenneth Edwards of St. Croix. He has earned the highest advancement award the Boy Scouts of America offers to Scouts, and the Eagle Scout Award. A ceremony on Saturday will be held February 7th at 6:30 p.m. at the Good Hope Country Day School Pavilion. Now, to attain the rank, the candidate must earn 21 merit badges and successfully complete a community-related service project. Philip worked with Youth with a Mission to design and build an aquaponics system to assist in reducing its food costs. Philip, a homeschool senior, is the son of Dale and Lori Edwards. And congratulations to you, Philip. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.